Welcome today to Unbreakable Spirits. This is the third podcast for Unbreakable Spirits, stories of strength and resilience. And today I am here with a very, very dear person to me, my cousin, Patricia Korey. Patricia is how I call her most of the time. And I am here highlighting her journey, her story of strength and resilience through the years that she has been basically battling with a diagnosis that was a life changer. But for her, she has shown such strong strength and resilience over. I would like to introduce Patricia. Patricia, welcome.
Hi, Maryanne. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know what I have to impart to your audience, but I'm happy to share some of the challenges that I faced, not just with my cancer diagnosis, but just through the years and how I've dealt with it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be here too and to share your story, basically from being all that you've had to overcome and how you still are overcoming all these things, and just different things that you can do, that you have done, that it will inspire so many of our audience today too, and through the years. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about everything that you've been going through?
You know what, when I was preparing to talk to you, I was thinking about some of the challenges that I faced earlier in my life that kind of helped prepare me for what I'm dealing with now. And I think that, as you know, I started out as a pianist, and that was my original major in school. And I hurt my arm and I wasn't able to play for a while. And so that was kind of the first big challenge that I had. And I was, I think, about 21 then. And I realized how important my body was and how important it was to take care of my body and to be aware of not overdoing it, not over challenging it. And then because it took me about a year or two where I wasn't able to play the piano at all, and I need to let my arm recover. And it was during that time that I decided to go to law school. And so not only was I dealing with a physical issue, but I also had a lot of issues with anxiety. And so kind of learning how to deal with my anxiety. And I, went into mental health treatment went to see a counselor, and that really helped a lot. So I, have always, as you know, my mom was, and our grandfather was they were both big walkers, and they take a walk almost every day. And so I started, taking walks pretty much every day or several times a week. And that really helped both with maintaining my energy and anxiety as well. So I was a lawyer. I became a lawyer, and I practiced mostly public interest law as a child advocate and in legal services. And so, I mean, that kind of helped me a lot, learning how to just kind of get through every day. And so, I don't know what else.
Helping children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a champion for others helped you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I know. I remember when you were going through that time too, and it was like being in a classical pianist too, and then going into law. It was like that was such a dramatic big change too, but you did it, and did it with flying colors.
I mean, I think at some point I probably would realize that I wasn't going to be a professional pianist in the sense that, I wasn't going to be a concert pianist. I probably would have done a lot more accompanying, but there are actually a lot of skills that you can apply from one to the other. I mean, there's a lot of time that you spend alone. There's preparing to perform. So there's a lot of, background preparation that you do. preparing a case like you would prepare a piece of music and then having to present it, because I did a lot of courtroom work. And then also kind of having a sensitivity for mental health issues and addressing them helped in the work that I did as a child advocate.
It's all connected. It
Mm-hmm.
all, yeah. When you look at all those similarities, you can see
Mm-hmm.
like the building blocks of strength
Mm-hmm.
through the years too. And then yeah, so your career was basically taking care of others too
Mm-hmm.
and helping others. And then how many years ago was it the the diagnosis you got? I think you thought
So
it was a hernia,
it's
right?
wait, October, November of 2017. So it would be like 8.5 years ago. Just
Yeah.
in terms of like physical, whatever, even when I was, practicing and stuff, practicing law, um, I started doing, like like there was a channel called Fit TV, and they used to do little like 20-minute segments of aerobics and 10 minutes of strengthening. So I used to watch them and do them, and I would even videotape them and use them later. And I used them through the years. So that really helped me a lot. Like if I couldn't get outside to take a walk, I would do that. And
That's
one of the things that I was thinking about when I was doing this was when I was looking through some of the questions that you sent me ahead of time, was I realized before my own diagnosis, my husband was diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer, and his prognosis was not as good as mine has been. And during that time, I really learned that I could, a lot of what I needed to do. My dog is chewing on something that she shouldn't be chewing on because she's annoyed with me. So anyhow, I was saying that before my own diagnosis, my husband was diagnosed with lung cancer, metastatic lung cancer, and his prognosis was not good. And he lived about 10 months after he was diagnosed and had a gradual decline. Um, and a lot of what I had learned just from the doing those exercise routines put me in good shape to be able to take care of him physically, because towards the end he was, bedbound. And so he was for a period of time was in a rehab, and what they basically did was teach me how to take care of him, like in terms of, what physically it required. And having been in enough decent shape and also to understand the body mechanics, I was able to, that really helped me in taking care of him.
it's,
So,
it was a very, very functional fitness
right.
we're doing. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Very useful. Very
Right.
useful.
So,
Yeah.
as you said, about, as I said, 8.5 years ago, I was diagnosed out of the blue with metastatic breast cancer. And
Was even just like you
th
just went for something else unrelated.
yeah, I was having some issues with, I'd been going to the gym a lot at that point, because there was a gym that opened up, or a fitness center that opened up near me, in the community. And I don't know what it was. I just started having problems, weird kind of pain and also weakness in my like upper legs. And I didn't know what it was from. And I went to see the doctors, and they sent me for different scans, and I had an abdominal CT scan, and it showed that it just be probably because I'm short-waisted, it showed that I had a tumor right below. It was actually on almost on the rib underneath the breast, but it was breast cancer. So I went through all of the evaluations and testing and found out that I had a metastasis to my lung nodes. So that put me on a different trajectory of treatment, which was not necessarily curative, but kind of containing to control rather than to cure. So I had what I call the hard chemo for about 3 months. I went through 6 treatments of that, and now I'm on maintenance, which is every 3 weeks I go and I have an infusion. It was 2 drugs, but recently I asked to stop the one drug because of problems with neuropathy that I thought were related to it. And I've seen a marked improvement since I stopped.
So 8.5 years and
Hmm.
still going through treatment,
Yeah, because
but yet
for people who are in or have a metastatic diagnosis, they never stop treatment. You might take a break because you're of um, side effects that might become too onerous. But for me, I've been able to, have the treatment without having too many negative side effects.
and how do you manage the side effects for all these years?
Most of the major side effects in the beginning were brain fog and fatigue, and also some neuropathy. There were other issues like diarrhea and which I came to be able to handle with diet. Um, the brain fog has lifted a little bit over the years, but it's still an issue, and fatigue is still an issue. And so, some of it is just knowing what you're able to do and not going past that, and not overdoing it. And when you overdo it, you have a few days where you spend at home instead of going out and running around and doing things. Um, and I worked for about 2 years after my diagnosis, 2.5 years. And then I decided that I would retire on disability because it really had become too difficult for me to continue working and also maintaining my health. And
Yeah.
I also, I mean, I have my dog who is a natural antidepressant, and
Right.
and she gets me, I walk her at least 3 times a day.
That's great. I know, and you never stay still either. You're
Yeah,
always on the go.
yeah.
You've
I
got
mean,
quite a lot of things that I always hear that you're doing.
I try to keep up with, actually it's more social things. Like I try to see people like your mom and my friends, and you know, but I also am not able to schedule more than one thing a day. So if I have an activity on a day, that's my only activity for the day. And occasionally when I do have two activities in a day, I, kind of pay for it the next day. But I do what I can.
That all
So,
comes to the
right,
pacing yourself. You could do everything that you did when you were younger.
right,
just, just you have to pace it, not as
right,
frequently.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Little doses, like either
Hmm.
from exercise or activity.
Hmm.
Activity is
Right,
social activity is activity.
right.
Uh, you have to give it the right dosage.
Hmm.
It's like medicine
Right,
too. Yeah.
exactly.
And food is
And
medicine
food. Yeah.
too. I know that
I
you have a pretty
eat.
healthy diet too.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of you had said at one point, what advice would I, do I have, or sayings that I have? And
Yeah.
I remember hearing this thing years ago about being aware of, like, when you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, or you're tired. And I always would tell my nephews when they went off to school, I'd say, eat when you're hungry, rest when you're tired, and when you feel like, you need to get out and socialize and be with people, and, that maintain a balance,
Uh,
um,
isn't
as
that
I think as our parents, or my mom used to say, and grandpa would say, everything in moderation, just
yeah.
do everything, a little bit of
Yeah,
everything, not too much of one thing.
do what you can.
Yeah,
And you are very good at balancing. Uh,
I am now. I was not always.
yeah, you had
But
to learn.
it's also the benefit of not having to work anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So you're balancing your body's health.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean, it's quite a pivotal pivotal experience that forced you into that
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So your resilience is quite amazing. Is there any advice that you can give the listeners too of how to be resilient? when you're faced with these challenges?
I think it's that being aware of what you can and maybe cannot do, and for me, it's doing what I can and um, not beating myself up for what I can't do. You know, being grateful for what you can do. Um, as
Mm.
our grandmother used to say, thank God for the way we are. And I think of that a lot, you
Yeah.
know, thank God for what I'm able to do. And, you know,
And
I'm able to do more than other people, you know. There are other people who have bigger challenges than I have, and everybody's got their challenges. So it's kind of like
yeah,
do what
it's
you can do.
my grandparents. They really did give us the most valuable lessons of strength and resilience
Hmm.
to live,
Absolutely. I mean,
to live by through
what
their experience.
what they went through is, you know, 100 times harder than what we went through in immigrating here and you know, building a life in a strange place.
How would you say that now you keep building strength in your routines now to keep?
I think it's maintaining that balance. It's, you know, walking the dog, it's going out and seeing people. I also have spent a lot of the last few years um, learning and studying other things, like listening to podcasts, you know, reading or listening to books, keeping my mind active. And my mind is probably more active now than my body is sometimes. But you know, learning new things that way. It
Yeah.
keeps me going. My community of friends, one of one of the women in our group had started a local breast cancer group on Facebook. And we not only interact on Facebook, but we get together and do things together and, you know, kind of support each other through what we are going through. And I've also been lucky, not only with my family, but also just my friends that I've accumulated over the years are kind of, we maintain each other through different things. So,
We used to, I remember we would do the lung cancer
uh-huh.
5K
Yeah.
down in the city, and there was always a big group there
Hmm.
in support too.
Yeah.
And through the years, that was great. And just you organize, you do so many different things. You even went horseback riding
Oh yeah. There's a group,
last year.
yeah, a local group that they invited. It was for metastatic breast cancer patients. And yeah, it was out at this ranch up in Doylestown, maybe, or somewhere around there. And yeah, we went up and they taught us, they put us on the horses and they got us on the horses and they got us off the horses. And it was a lot of fun. I had never been on a horse before. So that was thrilling. And then there's another group called Camp Bravehearts, which is wonderful. It's for any women who have had cancer, any kind of cancer. And they do different camps. They do two a year in uh, it's the Double H Ranch up in upstate New York in Lake Luzerne, and then they do one on Shelter Island. I haven't been to that one, but I've been to the one that's at the Double H Ranch. And this past year was the second year that I went to it, and they had this zip line thing. I mean, you could go up a rope wall
Wow.
and then do the zip line. I didn't do the rope wall because I at that
No.
point my neuropathy was still not good. And I knew there was no way I could make it up the rope wall. But they hoisted us up to
Wow.
this platform up in the trees that was really high up. And I'm very afraid of heights, but I did it. And I did the zip
Good.
line. It was really fun. It reminded me of riding the waves at the shore, at the beach,
Oh,
because you get that kind of same rush of the
yeah.
speed going down. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm aware of my luck and I try to take advantage of that. Do what I can while
So
I can.
it's like, yeah, you really uh, have uh, have shown that like you're conquering fears like zip lining,
Yeah,
horseback riding, uh,
yeah,
it, the strength that it takes to do that and to take care of Lucy too, the dog. He's
yeah,
Lucy's a strong dog too,
Yes,
and
she is. She a
that's
my little
that's strength.
my
That
little pocket pitty who's not, she's more like a fire plug.
what would you say is your greatest inspiration and influence to help you to have the strength and the resilience? I know you
Yeah,
named quite a few already.
yeah, no, I mean, it's going back. I think, grandmom really was a big inspiration to me. She was very, I mean, it's kind of like you just keep plugging away. You just keep doing what you need to do and finding, finding joy in everyday life. Just the little things are so important. And of course our parents, like my mom and my dad were very strong people, and I mean, I don't know how they did it. They raised 10 children and didn't kill any of us, and we didn't kill
And you're
them.
the
So
youngest of 10.
no.
And you're the
Um,
youngest of 10.
yeah, yeah. So no, really, truly. Um,
Yeah.
and somebody said, like different people when you tell them, and they're like, and are you all still alive, or are you, and none of you went to prison, and none of you had, and they're like, no, we're all, managed to avoid those
Yeah.
things. Um,
Some
we, we all have
it's
our issues, but we
yeah.
managed to avoid the major,
Somehow I think
difficulties.
even if we were only children, we would have issues
Yeah, yeah.
too. But sometimes I think that big team, the big team
Yeah, we all have our,
together, no matter what, things will
yeah,
be always okay.
yeah.
And that inspiration, I guess, then from their lessons of
Yeah,
resilience.
just they're every day, everybody's got their own things, right? Everybody's
Yeah,
got something. And just kind of finding a way to just keep moving forward. A lot of I I don't I don't really think of, now that I've been diagnosed for this long, I don't really think of it as, oh, she's eating a glove. Okay. Oh, and that's one of my good gloves, Lucy.
oh, you better get that.
Okay. I don't think of it as, like fighting or battling. It's just kind of like you're living. Like you every day you live with what, you with what's been given to you. And so,
Like that. I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to move forward. You have
Hmm.
to
And
continue.
sometimes moving forward means taking a nap. Because, napping is,
Recovery.
yeah, exactly. Napping is, as they say, napping is resistance. Napping is resilience. It's, giving yourself that time you need to recover so that you are able to do things, later.
Yeah, it's all come. You're very balanced and pacing.
Hmm.
I love that. I
Hmm.
love that. That gives so that's quite a remarkable way to go about like
Hmm.
structuring and just like taking the pressure off of
Hmm.
yourself to say, I don't, I, I need this rest right now.
Hmm.
I know how my body feels, being aware of that
Hmm.
and just say, okay, it's okay. Take a little break.
Yep.
Use it
Yep.
in the recovery so you come back stronger.
Right.
It's one of the greatest principles of exercise, but,
Hmm. Yeah.
but we
And
always
all,
break it down, break it
and
down.
also that, what's that old thing, doctor, it hurts when I do this, then don't do that. So,
Oh,
and that's something that I learned from when I was playing the piano. That's like kind of how I hurt myself, was I did something too much and it was not good. So, yeah, I ended up having nerve damage as a result, which is very unusual. But, we have jobs, like I had jobs at the time that were playing jobs. And so I, was kind of like, oh, I'll play through it until I can, until this event is over, and then I'll stop. And, meanwhile, I injured myself during that.
Yeah.
So injured myself worse. So it's just kind of,
If the
listen to
body
your
tells you
body.
one thing,
Yeah.
yeah,
You listen to your body and do what your body allows you to do.
that's good advice for
And
all of us.
also learn from people who know about body mechanics like you know. Um,
It's yeah, it's like how you get out of a chair can be
right,
hurting your knees
right,
one way
right.
versus not
And that's
using.
like when doing
Sure.
physical therapy really helped me a lot, especially this last jaunt that I went through. Um, just, listening to people who know what they're doing,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like the doctor tells you this is what you need to do. He does know better than I do. But then I also listen to my body. So like, as I was saying to you, I was having a lot of problems with neuropathy, and to the point where I had that heaviness in my legs and cramping, and then like the loss of sensation, so that you can't quite feel the way you used to, so you're not quite sure, what you're not that you're not sure where your legs are, but it
oh,
just feels different. And when something feels different, your brain needs to readjust to what it's feeling or not feeling. Um, and so just one of my Facebook groups that I'm in for people who are taking on the same drugs as I am, some of the women started talking about how they had those uh,
oh,
same side effects, or same, sensations, or different, things with their legs. And a couple of the women in the group said they stopped getting the infusion of one of the drugs. And within 6 months that they were like 80% better. So I thought, let me try this. So I
that's
asked my doctor, I said, can I go off that drug, but continue on the other drug? And he said, yeah, we can try it. And so I did. And like literally within 3 months, it was so much better.
but what lesson would you say would you can impart to the listeners here, the
I don't
audience?
know. Um,
Yeah. No,
you know,
honestly, it's great though.
when I was younger and I was going through some, mentally trying times between hurting my arm and whatever. And I remember one of our friends gave me, I don't know, uh, Kathy Kropp, who's a friend, who's actually was classmate of my older siblings, had given me a necklace, and it had a tortoise and a hare on it. And, her thing was, just the tortoise, the slow and steady wins the race. So just kind of keep plugging away, and reach out to people when you need support, because you can learn a lot from people, and just kind of um, having that can help. And also, knowing what works for you. Something I learned from my husband was, he only did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it, sort of thing, and not, you know, do what you want to do and what you're able to do.
That's
And
great.
that helps
That's great.
you both mentally and physically.
Yeah,
And
that's
she's
great.
growling at me.
Yeah.
So not growling, kind of whining. I know
I,
you want to play.
I thought she was agreeing with you there.
She was, oh, she's kind of doing this. Oh, mom, I want to play.
Okay. So she's like, okay, what?
I love you too,
She,
honey. I do. I love you.
on camera too, right?
Sorry.
She's looking to be on camera. So, I guess, looking forward here, what would you say are your any goals or projects that you have?
I kind of reevaluate things. I took a course last semester, the summer session, and the uh, fall session in immigration, because I was interested in that. I think it's just kind of just learning new things, and also just taking care of myself so that I'm able to be able to contribute. I don't have right now. My goals are to, do my garden, get my garden kind of plan
Healthy
that for the
eating, healthy
fall. Yeah, plan
nutrition.
that for the summer. And yeah, I think with maybe with the rising cost of different things, I might start growing more things like beans that I have never done before that have protein in them, and
Oh,
as well as my tomato and my cucumbers and some other
yeah.
things. I think I grew eggplant last year. That was fun. That was the first time I had done that. You
Wow.
know,
That's, yeah, you might be selling it to the neighborhood,
no, I'll give it away.
opening a farm stand.
No, just give things away. We share, right, Lucy Lou?
Yeah,
We
we
help each
share
other.
and we like what I mean, so many things that you have overcome through your resilience. And I just want to say thank you for sharing this
Sure. I hope it was helpful.
experience too. I know. Is there anything else you would like to add
No, I don't
to?
think so. Just thank you for, wanting to
Yeah,
chat with me. I hope I was helpful.
yeah, take that advice with you and keep the healing going.
Hmm.
Really, it's quite remarkable with you're the inspiration for me becoming a cancer exercise specialist
Oh.
too, along with right at the same time it was one of the gentlemen that I interviewed too, with pancreatic cancer.
Hmm.
And we both were right around the same time. And I was just like, this is not right. Why is
Hmm.
this, you
Hmm.
know? And I at that point was like, I have to become a cancer exercise specialist
Hmm.
and learn the differences of how you can beat this through
Hmm.
recovery and strength.
Hmm.
But it was like your journey and how all the things that you did to keep yourself grounded
Hmm.
and to help yourself get through it
Hmm.
and continue to get through it
Hmm.
are are are
And
remarkable,
yeah.
where
And the
you
other thing
take.
is that there's some people who's, despite their best efforts, their cancer is going to progress and they are, going to die. And it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. It just, maybe it's our environment's fault and what we're doing on a macro scale that's not helping. But,
Yeah,
one of my friends in our group likes to say, we don't die because we did anything wrong. We die because we're mortal and the body can only live for so long, sort of thing.
yeah.
And so, take advantage of the time that you have and be grateful for what you have. But keep
That's
working to, for research and things like that and to make our environment better so that people aren't exposed to carcinogens and
that's thank you so much for sharing uh, so many stories
Mhm,
of your strength and resilience
mhm.
and, your inspiration to be unstoppable,
Mhm.
unbreakable, a spirit to all of us. I truly appreciate it.
My pleasure, Maryanne. Love you.